What's good, YouTube? Carfight King here. So today, guys, I wanted to bring you my Beelstar deck profile that I got top 32 with 17th place overall at the Otakon PPG Digimon Regionals. We just barely bubbled out of top 16 by like 0.4%, due to, I guess, opponent win percentage or whatever it was. We just barely bubbled out. Our only losses was in two very close game threes in round 6 and round 8 to Alphamon, but they all came down to the wire, and I did the best play I felt like I could in that moment, where it was you either have X answer or you don't have X answer, and both times one had the Grumble, one had the Dexdor Gray. Both were the exact answers they needed in order to secure the game. But other than that, we played very well overall. There are quite a few changes and things I want to test out now, and changes I kind of really do want to make the deck just based upon my experience playing in the regionals, and doing pretty well for our first major tournament of the BT9 format. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. We still run the 4 Demi-Marimon eggs and the 1 Pagumon egg. So Demi-Marimon was a classic draw 1, trash 1 on deletion. But Pagumon, when you attack, you can trash a card in your hand and have the Digimon gain 1000 DP. My boy Tyler from GFG was playing this, and I was like, let me try it out. It's an interesting card. It's a 5th egg, and in certain matchups you want your 5th egg, but it's a card that gets an option out your hand, which is kind of what you want, because sometimes Scatter Mode is going to have security, especially against like Alphamon, where they're playing like 8 to 10 Tamers, memory boost, stuff like that. In that matchup where it's just really hard to come back, you notice that some of the stuff is not going to just get deleted by security, just because they're playing so many stuff that's not Digimon. So there's just another avenue to help get cards out of your hand without relying on deletion. This could be the Pokemon from the starter deck. This could be the Pokemon that can mill the card off the top of your deck. This could really be whatever you want it to be. But I just wanted this just for the reliability of just cleaning my hands out of those option cards. And it can help you with, maybe Ogremon's power level and whatever else. Going into the rookies, 1 Dracmon, 2 Gazumon X Antibody, 4 copies of Gabumon, and then 4 copies of the MVP of the day, Gazimon. So you already know what Dracmon does. On play, return a 1 or 7 cost option to your hand. Easy. Gazimon X Antibody. So what Gazimon X Antibody does is on Digivolve, on top for 0 on top of a Gazimon, you get to trash the top 3 cards of your deck. So that's just a free draw and a trash 3. Honestly, that's not bad. That's pretty good. On paper, it's pretty good. But when I started playing at, during the mirror match, and then when I got, closer to top tables, when I started to play, again, when I started to play more Alphamons, this card really just wasn't that great. It really didn't do much for me. Even in the armor matchup, it just really didn't do too much for me. It was more or less a dead card a lot of times. So a lot of times I would just Digivolve this in the raising, just on top of the egg, or I just call this out just as an extra body to put to the board, because having Gazimon out on the field won me so many games on the Saturday during the regional tournament. It locked out Oryukin. If you can get double Gazimon onto the board versus Alphamon, it improves your chances to win by so much, because you shut down their gameplays from the Dex Doruga Digivolve and the Dex Doru Gray. The Dex Doru Gray is going to probably pop one of your Gazimons, but having another Gazimon, they're not going to gain any of the extra memory unless they gain memory from having 1,000 cool boys and whatnot, and it stops Oryukin, because a lot of times you're gonna have something that's bigger than Gazimon on the field as far as play cost goes, and this is going to stop Oryukin from getting the memory at the end of the turn. So there was a situation where my opponent misplayed by going into the Oryukin and didn't realize I did have the second Gazimon on board, which really kind of cost them the game, because now they couldn't perform whatever their OTK was, and it allowed me to make a comeback, get rid of their card, and establish board control. This shut down memory boost. Like, Gazimon was really the MVP of the day. If I saw Gazimon, he's sitting on the board board, and I'm just using him just as that field control card. Like, he exerts so much. And then you obviously want to see your Gabumons. They're the ideal cards you want to hit in the raising area for when you're trying to ramp, but sometimes you want to just get your Gazimons onto the field as soon as possible before you really start doing that. So Gazimon X Anybody was kind of lackluster. He's a card I am looking at probably changing out. Just not sure where I want to go with it just yet. For level 4s, we got the 4 Scatter Mode, 2 Ogre or 2 Vilemon. We got 1 Promote, 1 Ogre, 1 Dover. The scatter modes are stable. This is the ultimate hand filter for the on deletion play with Gabumon and Demimeramon. Draw 6, trash 4, essentially. The Vilemon blockers come up a lot, actually. Not seeing your blockers really sucks. Like, if you can get 2 of your Vilemons, especially when you start playing Nailbone a lot more aggressively, like I've been trying to do, which is get to my Nailbones more aggressively. These come up so much. Having like this and the Gazimon on board, so now I'm protecting my security, again, because you don't want to rely on your security having option cards in it, because a good portion of the day I didn't really have, my security wasn't great, but by preventing swings on your security, you can preserve that. This card can keep coming back to the board because we can keep replaying Beelstar, spamming Nailbone, doing what we need to do there. This card locks out any type of like early pokes and aggressions, things like that. This is just a really good card still. Like, blockers are still very good, and it actually helps stop an Alphamon, or you can OTK as well. I cut down Promote to put in an Ogremon, just because Promote has Rush, and a lot of time we just bring him back with Beelstar when we're ending games. But with Ogremon, I put him in here because I just wanted to try him out. I saw a lot of video. My boy Analog Man, he had a profile where he was featuring this in Doberman, and the Ogremon, really, it was a card where, like, I like it, but I don't like it because it has twofold. When you attack with it, you can discard a card to get an extra security check, right? And if he survives the first security check, okay, then you get the second fold benefit. The first benefit, discarding an option card so that you can reduce Beelstar's cost. The second benefit is hitting 2 security. If he hits 1 security, okay, we got pretty much half the value of this card. If we can hit 2 security, then we ended up getting the full value of this card and possibly a draw 1, trash 1, some type of filter if he's on top of like a Gabumon or a in one of our eggs or whatever it is. So it's an interesting card, something that I may still continue to check out, but I actually like Doberman a whole lot more than I did the Ogremon. When Doberman hit security and died, you get to draw trash 3 and add a purple Tamer or a purple Digimon to your hand from the trash. This just really accelerated my trash a lot. I can get back a Beelstar, I can get back a DeathXmon, I can get back a Scatter Mode or anything I need. So it allowed, or I can just pick this card back up again. Like, it just got me what I needed, what I wanted. And to me, it felt like having a 5th Scatter Mode. So what I may end up doing is cutting the Ogremon and playing another Doberman, just because I felt like I got a lot of value out of Dobermans on deletion in conjunction with Scatter Modes on deletion that helped me speed up a lot of my games. So that was the 4s. So then obviously we don't play 5s because we go right into the wifey Beelstar. She is the queen of the deck. This is our win condition. This is our card that we play around. She makes everything possible. The more 7 cost options and copies of her she have in the trash, the better it is. Now, don't be afraid to trash her with skills and abilities. Don't be afraid to trash her early game with those skills and abilities. A lot of the times what you want to do is count how many 7 cost options and 3 musketeers you have in your trash, and then see what you have and determine if playing her is good. So say if you're at 3 memory, you have 6 in the trash. You can play her down for 6. Give your opponent just the basic 3, like your passing turn, but then you play a nail bone. Now you have 3 bodies on board. They're at 3. They have to deal with 3 bodies on board. You can probably put a Gazimon blocker out. So now you have protection against your security. You have a memory blocker out, and then you have a card that's going to attack them next turn, which then lets you, which could digivolve into a DeathXmon if you wanted to, or you could just keep poking with this card until they get rid of it, which is just going to add back to the count of having Beelstar in the trash. Honestly, just an awesome card, really great. And the fact that this deck is so unorthodox, and we can change it up. There's a lot of freedom as to what you want to do with the deck, with your option cards, with your play style of what you see, and her ability to adapt to a lot of different decks and what the current meta is. This is a deck, again, can transcend multiple formats just by the support we have. And so this is my favorite card in the game. This is my favorite deck in the game, and that's not going to change. I love Beelstar so much. And then we got the boy that's probably going to end up getting limited to 1. I feel like mid-August ban list, he's going to get limited. DeathXmon's going to get limited to 1. You pretty much for every Tamer Digimon on your opponent's side of the field, his play cost is reduced by 3. And then when he comes out, you unplay, or when digivolving, you de-digivolve their entire board, and then delete all their level 4 or lower Digimon. At the end of the turn, once per turn, you blow up all of their Digimon that have the lowest play cost. Honestly, just a really strong card that you can go into overall. And again, when your opponent's playing a lot of Tamers out, they're getting all that value. I got to a point where I could play him for free or play him for 2. He's a card that you can add back to your hand from Calling from the Darkness. I think against Armor, one game I dropped 2 of them on Armor. I did drop him in game 3 against Armor, put him to 9, but I wiped the board clean. And anything that he did try to put on the board as far as just Digimon Go, whatever it is, just got wiped. So he's just such a good card, such a strong card. And again, the Digivolve for 6 cost, so he is just a regular level 7. But if your opponent, like if you have a Beelstar on board, your opponent plays a Psychmon, don't forget you can Digivolve in here, clear the Psychmon, and now they got to deal with the DeathXmon, who is again also you can grab it back from Calling from the Darkness or Dobermon. Just remember that it's really strong. Option cards, 3 Calling from the Darkness, absolutely an insane card, one of the best cards in this deck. I really enjoy playing with this card. So that's just where it is. I want to show off these ones first. And then 2 copies of Miss Memory Boost. Honestly, I want to bump up Miss Memory Boost. Not cutting this down. This is going to stay at 3. But the Miss Memory Boost, I really want to bump up just because I do like the value that I'm getting from it. And this is more or less because there are times where I started off games and I wish I had more Miss Memory Boost just purely for speed purposes of milling the top 2, drawing a card. Even if I don't always get the rookie I need for raising, whatever it is, I'm still milling 2 cards. They could be options. I might get stuck with the Beelstar in hand early game, but this card really just comes in handy a lot, and I really want to see what I can do as far as bumping this card up and kind of what that produces from a speed perspective. Then for our 7 cost options, playing 1 Howling Crusher, 2 copies of Happy Bullet Showering, 3 copies of Nailbone, 4 copies of Fly Bullet, and 4 copies of Cositis Breath. I do want to make some changes to this lineup. The 4 Fly Bullet was really good. 4 Cositis Breath needed against Alphamon. Nailbone is a card I definitely play aggressively, but I think it's good as a 3 of. The Happy Bullet Showering is definitely a good card too. It's one of the few cards that helps us fight against the Greymon deck if they go Omnimon X Antibody. And it's a single card field. You can use this because what I ended up doing was I looped with 2 Calling from the Darkness. I looped Beelstar 3 times and played this card 3 times in order to hit all of the X antibodies out and clear the Omnimon X antibody. that was just a really hard matchup, but he committed so much to that stack, and that was the only way I could get it done, was looping this and playing this card 3 different times with three recycled Beelstarmons. It was a great play, and it won, and that's what won me the game. It won me game 3 in round 5 against Wargreymon X, which is one of our hardest matchups. The Howling Crusher, though, I want to put to 2. I want to put this card to 2, and I think I could probably cut a Happy Bullet Showering for it, maybe a Fly Bullet, but I don't really feel comfortable cutting Fly Bullet from 4 yet. But the Howling Crusher, I think, comes up in a lot. Really good against Alphamon, very good against Wargrey X, really good against Garurumon X anybody. Like this card, especially because it's a card that we can reuse, is something that as a one of I did not see often, and there were times where I actually really wanted to see this card as a preferential choice in a situation, rather than wasting this on a Greymon stack or whatever it is, and not getting, and not removing it off the board. But again, when I just make some changes to the deck, I'll see what kind of changes I can make to this lineup. Maybe the Happy Bullet Shower comes down from 2, just because we have quite a bit of removal in the deck. And again, the Howling Crusher actually can get rid of the stack for Omnimon. So this Howling Crusher, it's seeming like it might be a 2 of for this format. I'm gonna definitely test it out. As far as Tamers go, 2 Youth and 2 Kyoshiro, 1 Matt and Sora. The Youth was just there, again, it's really just there for the top 3, again, just to accelerate, kind of like Memory Boost, but except not Memory Boost. Never came up as far as his ability to tap, hatch, and gain a memory, because I didn't Digivolve DeathXmon over Beelstar, so he's just there for just the mill. And again, it's a card that I'm looking at maybe changing out again, but I put him back into the deck for that reason. The Kyoshiro is just here as a blue source and just a blue source and a memory tamer. Getting set to 3, I think, is really good and helps out in a lot of situations. And then I teched in the Matashita Sora. It's a blue source and a red source. So the red source let me play Happy Bullet Showering from the hand. The blue source did the blue source things. But if I had 8 or more cards in my hand, I gained a memory. If my opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, I gain a memory. That's really what it was, is just giving me the ability to gain a little bit of extra memory, especially if I had both on the field. I had the potential to start out at 4 or 5. This kept me, this a lot of times kept me from getting memory choke too. I'm still on the fence about how useful it really was in retrospect, but this is the lineup that I did run, and you need to have your memory setters, because getting choked, while as unorthodox as this deck is, getting choked still does not feel good, and really limits you on certain plays you want to do, especially if you need to use your low-end cards like Dracmon, who needs 4 memory in total for the whole play of being able to play him out, grab calling, use calling, then play Beelstar. That's still a 4 memory play. To do, and which is again another reason why I'm considering BT6 Itmon again, because those situations did come up. It's just me saying there's a lot of thinking, but there are some changes I want to make to the deck. But this is what I ran for Saturday. We ended 6-2. Bubbled out of top 16 by 0.4%, so we ended at 17th place overall. But Beelstar feels really good this format. I really enjoy the deck. Again, as you guys know, it is my absolute favorite deck to play in this game. That will not change. I love how transcendent the support is, and I can't wait to see you guys again and give you an update to Beelstar, for the next time we see her, after I do a lot more changes, a lot more testing, and getting a lot more reps in. All right, but thank you guys for joining. Cardfight King here. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later.